What's going on, friends? Thank you so much as always for stopping by. Welcome back. My name is Colin. Thanks for watching this video. Today is going to be just a little bit different from some of the normal stuff. I don't really know that there is a normal stuff on this channel anymore, but today's a little bit different from the normal stuff. About 2 months ago, YouTube's algorithm, in all its infinite wisdom, decided that I needed to watch a camera review video. Now, in and of itself, a camera review video is not abnormal for YouTube to recommend to me. In fact, it's pretty much everything it recommends to me is some sort of tech review. So I just kept watching. You go down a YouTube hole, just watch whatever comes next a lot of the times. And it turned out that the review video that YouTube wanted me to watch was actually for a film camera, an analog camera, not a digital camera. Something you put film in the back and you thread it through and then you take pictures and you wind it and all of that stuff. 2018, YouTube thought I needed to watch a film camera video. Well, it turns out that YouTube and Google are actually probably smarter than me, because I watched this video, I did not scrub through it, I didn't fast forward, I didn't do any of that stuff. I absolutely loved watching this video. Just the amount of artistic eye that it took for the person who was filming this video to seek out these shots, and you only have 24 or 36 times to shoot on a roll of film, and so he was being very careful with the stuff that he was shooting, and there were so many things that were going into his thought processes while I was watching this video. It was absolutely amazing. He had like a lavalier mic and somebody was following him around. It was so much fun to watch. And so I just fell down this hole of all of these film channels and film videos and analog camera things, and I admit it, I got hooked really hard and really fast. And so fast forward to a few weeks ago, where I started researching camera shops in my area and thinking, maybe this is something that I want to try out. I like digital photography and digital videography and things like that. As you know, you've seen the things that I like to shoot. But I was thinking, maybe I'll get a film camera. What could it hurt? Give it a shot. There's always room in my life for more creativity, for more not thinking about news and not thinking about world events and all of that garbage. So yeah, let's give it a try. So fast forward even more, I ended up going over to my local camera shop. Thank you, Blue Moon Cameras in Portland. And I picked up a camera. Blue Moon Cameras, the camera shop that I went to, they take in old cameras and they refurbish them, and then they resell them. So this camera was made in 1980. It's actually been refurbished, so everything on this is as new as it can possibly be. There's nothing super fancy about this camera. It says it has autofocus, but it's not really what you think of when you think of autofocus. We'll go into rangefinder cameras another time, because that's not what this video is about. But anyway, I put a roll of film in it. A friend of mine, Sean, recommended that I start with black and white film. He's a film shooter. So I got a roll of black and white film. It was Kodak TMax 100 speed, and loaded it on up in this camera. And I went and shot my very first roll of film. So I'm happy to report that the film, the negatives and the scans are back, and we are going to sit down and look at my very first roll of film. So let's hop on over to the computer and let's look at these pictures. Okay, so here we are on the first photo. This is the first photo that I took. As you can see, it is a kind of a clock light post, lamp post. This is actually in a part of town of Portland called St. John's. It's a nice little community in the northern part of Portland. They've got a cute little downtown area here. I'm actually pretty happy with this. I think the clock face could have been a little bit more pronounced, but I mean, like you can see there, the sun is, kind of reflecting off of it. It's 5 p.m. So the second and actually the third photos are kind of interesting to me, because having never shot film before, I really didn't know what to expect. And this film is actually a 100 speed film, meaning it's very, very slow. So I tried to take a picture of Timber, my dog, twice, and the film is so slow, and he was moving, and there's no light outside at all. Well, there's some light, but you can't really tell in this picture. This picture was actually taken at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, but because 100 speed film is so slow, any movement in the photo is just gonna make it completely blurry. So this one and this one are actually just kind of not really throwaway. It's still kind of cute, but it's just not, you know, it's not a great photo. But it is my first roll, and I told you I was going to show you every picture, so this is where we're at. So my fourth picture, this is actually the ceiling, the roof inside of PDX. PDX is Portland's airport. I like this picture a lot because from a distance you can't really see any of the little intricacies, but when you're up close, you know, you can see kind of the way that the ceiling tiles are and the lights, and then you've got this really, really nice sun flare over here. Yeah, not a whole lot else to say about it. It just kind of caught my eye and pulled the camera out and snapped a picture of it. But yeah, I think this is really nice, actually. So fast forward a little bit to this is at the Cozy Cone Motel at Disney's California Adventure near Disneyland, or part of Disneyland, I guess, if you want to say it like that. It's a cool picture. I kind of like the differentiation between, like, where you can tell where the sun is, but it's not too blown out right there, which is something you end up with midday photos a lot. I like the bush, and yeah, it's a pretty good picture. This is one of my wife. We were actually eating at the Cozy Cone Motel. Got her Mickey ears. A really nice, like, definition in the shadows on those Mickey ears with all the little tiny little hairs and things. Yeah, I like this one too. This camera has a little beep thing. It'll beep at you if it thinks you need to flash. And I guess we were in the shade a little bit, so it wanted me to use the flash on her face. And it didn't blow out her skin tones, which is kind of nice. This is the entrance to Tomorrowland, obviously. This was at golden hour, so as far as getting good shots at Disneyland, this is the best you're gonna get for this sign and for this lighting. Right when the sun is almost set, but you still got a little bit of light left. Yeah, I like this shot a lot. All the little planets and gadgets and doodads and stuff. So this shot is not the sharpest by any means. This is about 15 minutes after golden hour, so you're starting to get a little bit grainy. But Disneyland has ducks that live on property in the water and stuff, and they're super used to people, so they're just very docile. They don't really interact with people. They just kind of walk around and do their own thing. And this is one of the ducks. He walked in front of us as we were walking into Fantasyland, maybe? I'm not sure where exactly this walkway was, but he just walked in front of us and just stopped. So I pulled the camera out, and he stood there for long enough for me to get a picture of him. I didn't really remember any of the shots that I took at the time, or before I got him developed, and this was the only one that I could really remember. So I was hoping it came out a little bit sharper than it actually did, but I'm still happy with it. A lot of the stuff I'm finding about taking film photos, taking analog photos, is that, you know, there's a lot more emotion involved with it. There's a lot more, like, feeling, because you have to take your time. And this one had a lot of emotion with it, you know. So here's just the classic Disneyland castle scene. There's not a whole lot happening in this because it's, you know, you've seen it 100,000 times, but I like it. You know, you can see there's a good amount of detail in this, and yeah, it's an okay shot. It's not nearly as good as this one though. This one I am super proud of. Got really good levels of detail on the shadows on this bronze statue. This is called the Partners statue at Disneyland. And it's got a little, down here below it, it's got a little excerpt from Walt Disney's speech, and you've got the nice castle in the background. Yeah, I love this shot. I'm very, very proud of it. That's Lightning McQueen, one of my favorite Pixar characters, and I just got a picture of him as he was driving down the road here in Radiator Springs. If you ever have the opportunity to go to California Adventure and go to Cars Land and see the cars themselves, it's mind-blowing. They just walk around or ride around and talk. It's crazy, you know. Suspend your disbelief for a little while. So that's kind of a street shot of Radiator Springs. If you've never been there, it is unbelievable how perfectly Disney was able to recreate this from the movies. And there's Tow Mater right there. It's a little bit back from where I took that shot. I guess I wanted one without Tow Mater in the middle of it, but I guess he's right there. I just noticed that. I took this on Radiator Springs Racers, which is the kind of the thrill ride in Cars Land. If you're familiar with the movie Cars, you'll recognize this. It's a little bit blurry because I was in a moving car, so it's understandable, but I kind of like it actually. I was just a fraction of a second off from getting this completely framed perfectly. Now this one, let's see if we can turn it for you, is actually on the same ride, just about 10 seconds after that after the previous image. One thing Disney does really, really well is making things seem much bigger than they are, and just kind of manipulating scale of things like buildings and things. Like on this ride, this is supposed to be just this towering waterfall, which in reality it's really not that big, but the way that they manipulate scale is really, really impressive. This one is fantastic, I think. We were leaving California Adventure to go back over to Disneyland, and I was like, I'm not sure if we're going to be coming back over here and if we're going to have some good light, so I want to take another picture of it. It's just kind of the iconic California Adventure picture with what used to be Mickey's Fun Wheel. I forget what it's called. The Pixar Pal Around is what it's called now. It's got the Pixar Pier and the ball and the Incredicoaster. I like this one a lot. It's just, I can't get over how sharp these images are for being on film. It's crazy. This one is of the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland, and it looks like I just got a little bit too much pointed up. Got too much light on the lens, but it kind of looks ghostly, and that's what the Haunted Mansion is about. So that's fine. I actually really like this one though. Really nice and sharp. You get all the surrounding light, but I wasn't directly in the sunbeams. So this is kind of an interesting angle at the front of the Haunted Mansion. It really kind of gives you that ghostly vibe. Kind of like it a lot, actually. This is at the Tiki Room, which is just a fun little attraction if you've never done it. Highly recommend it because not only is it kind of fun, but it is air conditioned, and if you're in Southern California, chances are you're going to need some air conditioning every once in a while. But yeah, here again, like the intricate details on this are just really, really nice. Nothing's too underexposed in this picture, which is pretty impressive. It's a really good film. Really, really like it. Now this one is probably my second favorite picture in this whole roll. True black colors and true white colors, probably, it would make sense to me at least, show up better on black and white film, and this is so sharp. I love this picture of the stormtrooper. He was just hanging out in Tomorrowland, taking selfies with people and telling people to move along. But yeah, he was kind enough to let me take a picture of him while he was diligently doing his duties. But yeah, I like this one a lot. It's really, really sharp, really, really clear image. This is a picture of Goofy. Obviously, we stayed at the Paradise Pier Hotel, and it's kind of a beach theme, so Goofy was in our lobby. So moving away from Disneyland stuff, this is right near where my bus stop is in the afternoons when I'm leaving work. Got kind of a pretty nice view. Now this one, I'm actually really happy with the way this one turned out. I was walking over to a friend's house and walked by this grocery store. If you can tell through the glass, it's, you know, you can see like milk jugs and there's some produce over here and bottles or whatever. But you can also see me, which I was mostly going for. So the focus ended up being on the I don't know what you would call this, the outline of these window panes. But you can see me, and there's both my legs and my body. So I was hoping you would be able to make me out in the reflection of the glass, which is definitely what happened. And there's another person that walked by me, staring at her phone. Yeah, this is a pretty cool picture. I like it a lot, actually. I was walking over to a friend's house in Northwest Portland and walked by like a stationery shop, I think is what this was. But they have 2 working typewriters, and you can just sit down, and this is a public typing station. Not something I'd ever seen before, but okay. So the story behind this one, this little alleyway here, there were 3 or 4 people walking their dogs at the same time. You can see one back over there, one here, and one here. And I tried to get in the middle. I tried to frame this up pretty nicely, which it's okay. It's not great. But this gentleman here in the foreground decided to walk right in front of my camera and flip me off. So I wish I had been able to snap the shutter right when he got into the frame. I don't think it would have focused on him fast enough. But yeah, I think it's still a pretty decent little picture. Like, it's an interesting, like, kind of street life, city life type of photo. I'm not really sure why this caught my eye, but I kind of like it. It's not a terrible photo. Not really sure why I took this one. This photo was taken kind of early in the morning, so I'm kind of surprised that it came out at all, really. But just down one of the streets in downtown Portland. This is actually taken at the World Trade Center in Portland. They have these really cool walkways that are all glass with these gigantic steel beams. Yeah, I thought it was a cool place to take a picture. I bet it would be a really cool picture at night because they're all lit up really, really well. And this is a fountain near the Standard building in downtown Portland. I wanted to kind of test the shutter to see if the shutter would be too long on the water or if it would be too fast, and it looks like it kind of nailed it. It looks pretty good to me. One thing I like here is that the definition on this building could be easily blown out by a lot of cameras, but this film really handled it really, really well. This one is not very in focus, and there's nothing super special about it, but again, like with film photos, like the feeling that you get and like the artistry behind it is something that I'm really getting attached to in roles that I've shot since this role. But these ladies were taking up like most of the width of this little construction tunnel that we were walking through, and they had like 20 or 30 balloons. And so I had my camera in my hand on my way from my bus, and as soon as they passed by, I tried to frame up a shot real quick and get a shot of them just carrying a ton of balloons. I wish it had been sharper, but I kind of dig the way it looks like they're just kind of like walking off into the light, which, don't take that in like a morbid way, but it just kind of, it's an interesting photo to me. Kind of like it a lot. This one's also pretty interesting. This was just the same day that I took the previous one. I just wanted to take a picture of this stag statue fountain. I really like it. I walk by this thing every day almost, and I just wanted to stop and frame up a little picture of it. Well, these two bikers decided that they did not want their faces to be part of this picture, so they just covered their faces, but they both did it at the same time, and it turned out really kind of neat looking. Everything over here is like really sharp and well defined, and you can tell these guys are kind of moving through the picture, and I really dig that. I like that a lot, and the fact that their hands are both in the exact same motion is really interesting to me. This is probably my third favorite picture on the roll. It's a building in downtown Portland, kind of close to the waterfront. Everything about this picture, the lighting is really good. The mirror tint of the windows on these buildings just magnifies like the cloud imagery. It magnifies the actual clouds. And you got a pretty nice level of contrast in the clouds over here and the blue sky here. But then one thing I had no idea was happening until the photos were developed and scanned was that an airplane was flying overhead at the time. I had no idea. I couldn't hear it when I was taking the picture. I don't remember seeing it at all. But it looks like it's kind of just a small enough plane where, you know, you might not have heard it. So yeah, I really dig this one a lot. Like, this is just a really nice picture to me. This one's just kind of it's not going to be a good picture, just kind of a burner. But it's in a lobby of one of the downtown buildings in Portland. It's just kind of a big fireplace thing, but camera wanted to use the flash, so it looks kind of wonky. This one, there's nothing super special about it. I just kind of liked the way that the lines on these stairs looked. Which again is just kind of the thing with photography, like it, especially with film photography. You know, if something catches your eye and you want to remember it, just snap a photo of it. This one was taken indoors, and this film is by no means meant to be taken indoors. This is a please use sunlight for this film kind of film. But this was taken at a coffee shop in the Pearl District. This is my friend Allison. We were actually about to go on a photo walk, of which I recorded, or her husband recorded. It's not a great photo. I wish these people's feet were not in the picture. Otherwise, it's kind of a nice little candid shot, but you know, it is what it is. And then the last one on the roll, this is her husband, River, and this is Allison again. Misfocus here. Obviously focuses on the back wall. It's really funny, again, as with that picture of my dog earlier. You cannot tell at all what time of day this picture was taken because it just looks like it's just the black of night. But this picture was actually taken at about 10:30 in the morning. It just did not have near enough light, and so when I used the flash, it just kind of made everything look a little bit weird. But yeah, missed the focus. I love River's face though. This is, if you've ever met River or if you watch Riv and Al, you'll know that this is a very, very River-esque face. So that's it. That was my first full roll of film. Drop down into the comments and let me know what was your favorite. What did you like? What did you think of my first roll of film? Are you maybe a film shooter yourself? Just leave me some comments. Let's have a nice little discussion about film. There's going to be some more film stuff coming on this channel, so if that's something you enjoy, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We've got some more stuff. I've already filmed another video on another roll of film that we're going to be talking about maybe up in a week or two. So stick around and yeah, just find someone you love, tell them you love them, peace, and be good to each other.